Hello everyone, welcome back for a new Strategus video. We keep going with our tutorials. We go to tutorial 9 now. After speaking about memory, about rules, about priorities, I want to talk about a matter which make a lot of people, a lot of players extremely angry in the community, and we are going to discuss about Lotto. So, how does Lotto work? What is Lotto? Lotto is a term which is used in the community to tell that someone is just attacking a piece which is unknown and unmoved, and therefore taking a risk to encounter bomb. Usually Lotto is used when you have a strong piece, which can be a marshal, but it can be also the strongest piece, still alive on the board at a certain point, and it annoys people when they lose piece just because of these, right? Sometimes you just don't move a colonel in front of a marshal, even if it's unprotected, because you feel like the player will not risk to attack it if it's unmoved and unknown. So now, I want to distinguish two types of Lotto. What I would call like random Lotto, just to not to say anything worse, and what I would call a reasoned Lotto. So what's the difference between these two? So a random Lotto for me is just a person who will charge right from the beginning with strong pieces when almost nothing is known, and Lotto. So this happened to me recently. Usually these are weaker player doing it, or let's say beginner players doing it. So they charge with a marshal, take anything they can, and sometimes they encounter bomb and they give up. So sometimes it works, right? They will take general, which is not backed by a spy, or they take a high piece. That's can be good, you know. Um, but it can also be extremely bad. So I would say that in the end, if you play like this, you can expect to have like 50% win at best. So it's kind of a result like, okay, it can work, it can fail. All that I want is to try it, and if I lose, well, I don't care. It can be a reasoning, like in the end, I had fun, I captured a lot of pieces, it was fun. Yeah, of course you can make this reasoning. Now, if this reasoning is not very well seen from people for whom the game matter, for people who want to play the game seriously, and for who like winning means something, losing means something. It can just be points, but in a tournament it can also be much more. It can be the world champion title, for example. So that's unreasonable Lotto, and you can just lose it, and that's it. Another type of unreasonable Lotto for me is you go at random on an unknown and unmoved piece when you don't need it. So someone who is reasonable but is he has the advantage, so he doesn't need to Lotto, and if he does, he may actually lose the game. So he starts on a winning position, and because he Lottos, he ends up on a losing. He may end up in a losing position. That's an unnecessary risk. So that just doesn't make sense, and I would just say, okay, don't do that. What is a reasoned letter? Oh, I'm really happy that they are playing the tournament. Anyway, sorry. So, what is a reasonable letter? Well, I see again two situations where the letter is reasonable. The first one is when you have a huge advantage. So even if you lose a piece to by lotterying, it doesn't matter, and it actually gives you info advantage. So from that perspective, lotterying is good. Let's say you are up Marshal General Colonel, and your opponent's best piece is a captain. Well, you can lottery your captain on pieces, and if you're lucky, you get one extra lieutenant or something, and if you're lucky, you hit a bomb. But at least you know you have an info about the bomb, and you can guess a bit more about where the flag is, and you know where to target your miners. So that would be a reasonable Lotto. Like, even if you lose that piece, it doesn't change the outcome. So that's the first perspective. The second one is exactly the opposite. If you are in a losing position and you are given the opportunity to Lotto, well, you should try to go for it, hoping to get back in the game. Sometimes it happens, and I know a lot of players who do it, and then is it luck, is it feeling, is it skill? It's another debate, but the decision to Lotto is the good one, because, okay, if the player loses his marshal and he loses, he may encounter bomb, right? But if he is already losing, well, it just confirms he will lose. On the other hand, if the Lotto is happy ending, so he takes, I don't know, an unknown and unmoved colonel, well, this may bring a player back in the game. And of course then, he shouldn't keep the Lotto ongoing, because he may really lose again what he was back in. But if lottery makes you come back in the game, then it's worth it, and it's a reasonable lotto. So that's all I want to say about lottery. Just think about it. Like, is it reasonable or not? Is it worth it? Like, am I making my situation worse or not? Or does it change something if I lotto and hit a bomb? Always think about what is the consequence of my action. That's actually what you need to think about. And that's it, I think. So hopefully this helps you to understand when to lotto and when not, and try to think about these situations, and hopefully I will do it. I would say at a high level, people hardly ever lotto. At random, they really lotto when they need to, because the game matters, especially in tournaments. Now, when you play ranked game, it also happens to me. I just don't care, and we say, okay, what happens if I run my marshal straight on? 99% I will lose because I'm an unlucky person, but yeah. Some people just say it's bingo because in the end, okay, you end up with a very low probability of winning. And if we look at the ranking, we see that almost all the top players, you see they have 90%, 80, 92, 83. Like, they have much more than 50% win. So this means that there is something else than luck involved, right? There's skill. Of course, one could say, okay, I know I will lose against this opponent. Like, you put the weakest player against the strongest player. Well, the weakest best attempt, if you consider that he's already in a losing position just from the beginning, lottering can be an option, because it gives him 50% when, if he plays seriously, he may only have 10% win. So from that perspective, I can understand an unreasonable lotto to be actually reasonable from that perspective. But that's almost it. So yeah, just think about it and try not to lotto too much unreasonably. Just do it when you are desperate or when you are in a clear winning situation. Of course, there is a lot of, I would just add this, there is the involuntary lotto, so sometimes you are confident a piece moved and actually didn't. So that's maybe a memory mistake which leads you to a lotto, which can be lucky actually, or unlucky if you lotto something you thought moved and it was bomb, or something you thought moved actually didn't move and it was a major piece. So depending on this, it can be involuntary, in that case, what happens? It's a mistake which can turn out to be benefic or not. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope it's helpful, and see you soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye.